Well, welcome to walk number 2 around Central Station. We're going to go from the corner of Eddy Avenue and Chalmers Street down to the Railway Institute building and then to the Alfred Park swimming pool, which you can see here, before heading on to the church and Cleveland House, which is where we will finish our walk for the first episode. This is the corner of Eddy Street and Chalmers Street, looking north. And there's the railway line heading off to Town Hall. There's Central Station with the clock tower. And that's heading down to Chalmers Street. And of course there's also the light rail here as well. And just to show you on the map where we are, so there's Belmore Park and there's Central Station, and we are where it says you are here, so we're in that corner there. Across the road, and you didn't realise it's a much better shot from this side of the road. There's the city looking north, there's the Central Station, the clock tower. There's one of the original entrances. And here's a photograph of that entrance taken in 1926 when it was first opened as part of the expansion of the railway line into the suburban lines and across the bridge. And what's most significant about this photograph is the person standing in the middle, whose name is John Bradfield. So there's Chalmers Street, and we're going to walk down Chalmers Street. And right at the tail end there, you can see the Railway Institute building, which I've mentioned many times in my walks. So there isn't too much to see down Chalmers Street except perhaps the new Chalmers Street entrance, which I've already videoed in a previous video. So once we get back to the Railway Institute building, I'll resume videoing. So here we are again at the Chalmers Street entrance. And there's the Institute building over there. And of course, just in that corner over there is where the Devonshire Street tunnel is. So we will walk there now. Now there was a couple of reasons why I didn't record the whole trip and walk down Chalmers Street. First of all, it's very difficult to record whilst you're using crutches. But secondly, there's a lot of people around, so I didn't want to accidentally capture any faces or anything of people. And thirdly, my batteries are running low. Now I've got my power bank, but I don't have any attachment cord to charge my phone, so I'm hoping somewhere along here I might be able to find a store where I can get a cable suitable for my phone. Otherwise this will be a very short walk. Yeah, there we are. There's a couple of headstones over there, so I'm going to just cross the tram tracks and investigate what they are. So here are these statues and heads that I've seen, and they all seem to be famous Mexican people. So I really don't know the relevance of them here in Sydney, and I'm looking for a plaque that will explain why there are so many statue heads of Mexican people, heroes of Colombia and various other South American countries. Mexico was in one of them. So yeah, so maybe if someone knows why they're here in Sydney, if you could see in the comments below, but I cannot see any explanation. Just the names of the people, and since I don't know much about it, I'm not sure I can offer you any more insights, except that I did see, I don't know if this is related, but I did see a sign over here, so maybe this might explain what these South American leaders or famous people are doing here. So let's just see what it says. Okay, so it says, "Welcome to Ibero-American Plaza. Please respect the safety and enjoyment of others sharing this place. Pets and their dogs, blah blah blah." So it doesn't explain what it's doing here. Strange. Not a bad space, I must say, but just very unusual. Here we are back at the famous intersection I seem to keep visiting all the time. There's the Devonshire Street Tunnel. There's the road that goes down around the corner to the various buildings associated with the Railway Institute on the corner there. There's a little coffee cart, and then we've got Chalmers Street down there, and we've got Devonshire Street down there, and we've got the other street that leads up to the Chalmers Street entrance, and then we've got Chalmers Street itself. Now the reason I'm really here isn't to video stuff that I've already videoed, it's to go through stuff that I missed. For example, I wasn't aware until recently that the Royal Exhibition Hotel was named after the Intercolonial exhibition building, which has since been demolished, but I want to see what I can find of what's left of it.
And this is what it looked like in September of 1870, just after it was finished.
Plus there were plenty of buildings such as Cleveland House that I mentioned in the previous video and never found it. So we're going to go exploring and see what we can find, particularly in and around Alfred Park. So this is the northernmost corner of Alfred Park, surrounded on one edge by the original, yes, original trees. Plus there's some palms that were planted quite a long time ago as well. Lots of walking paths. One of the original pylons for the entrance to what I can only assume was the exhibition building. Plus we've got Chalmers Street. So our plan of attack is to walk down Chalmers Street, across Cleveland, or down Cleveland Street, and then back through the park perhaps. Or maybe we'll even go around the other side and see what's around the other side. Okay, now this is the public pool, so I'm not quite sure why it's fenced off. The fence in the foreground. But it's quite large. The park is quite large, to be honest. And I mentioned that in the previous video, how large and relatively unused this park is, and why it was here. But of course now it's just discovered that at one stage it was used for quite a few years as the site for the Royal Agricultural Show, these days known of course as the Sydney Royal Easter Show. And oh, this is quite spongy what I'm walking on here. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd show you this because it's obviously in a state of repair at the moment, but looks like it's a nice, interesting little place to come and play. But anyway, yeah, so it was the site at one stage of the what is now Royal Easter Show, which makes sense.
And here's a picture I managed to find of the 1881 Royal Show, showing clearly the exhibition building, and in the bottom right hand corner the oval and surrounding buildings used to house the cattle.
Because it was such a large space, and it really now is pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Central Station is a reasonable walk away, and most of the activities in Sydney happen elsewhere. There's the northernmost point and Railway Institute, by the way. Then there's playground down there, tennis courts, and then the swimming pool. Central Station, the original Redfern terminus, was situated pretty much right here. So this was a very central location, which is actually the whole reason that they moved the Royal Show down here from Parramatta because it was easier to access. Yeah, so looking at the size of it now, you can see that it would have made quite a large showgrounds. I know that there were lots of, for example, there was an oval down there where they exhibited cattle, and lots of buildings and outhouses everywhere around here that have since been well and truly demolished, all to do displays and display cattle, and of course, most importantly, the Intercolonial exhibition building, which, from videos I've looked at, was located fairly high up. Now, behind, or here, you can see there's like a rise here, and the pool itself is built into a rise, and I did read that the building was demolished in 1956 to make way for a pool. So I'm pretty much sure that that's the area, where the building was located. There's no markers or anything to say so, but I'll pretty much assume it's there. I do know it's at the northern end of the park, and I do know that I believe these trees are much older than 1956. So I don't think there's any room for any major buildings here. So hence my conclusion from my research that was where the Intercolonial exhibition building was located before it was demolished in 1956 to make way for a pool.
And you guessed it, I've dug up yet another photograph. This one was from 1954, just before the building was demolished. Looking up from the park, it was called Coronation Playground, up towards the building up the hill.
Nice little spot to get an overall perspective of where we are. We're pretty much in the centre of Alfred Park. Down there is Cleveland Street. There is the railway lines, just over past the tennis courts. There's the little elevated hill. And down there is where we started the walk. Way down there is the northern end and Chalmers Street. And we can follow Chalmers Street along. And then on the corner here is where the school is. So we'll have a look at that soon. That's where I just came from, and this is now the back of the pool where all this art has been constructed. So I've pretty much done a full circuit, because if I look down this way, that is Chalmers Street. The other reason I'm here is because I want to find out some of the buildings I missed in an earlier video. This church is quite historic. It's been here for a very long time, well before the exhibition building was knocked down. In fact, I can't remember the exact date now off the top of my head, but it certainly appears in a lot of the old photos that I see of the exhibition building. And of course, the one building I was looking for and mentioned in the other video is Cleveland House, and that is indeed Cleveland House there. So we'll go walking across there and have a look and see what there is to see, and then we'll carry on down Chalmers Street until we get to Cleveland Street, and we'll video the school, and then we'll maybe walk down Cleveland Street. We'll see, and that'll probably be a good effort for today.
So before we bring episode 1 to a close, I just wanted to show you this old photograph to see where we are in terms of having discovered where the exhibition building lies. So I've just zoomed into the top left hand corner, and now you can clearly see the exhibition building, but in the centre you can also see the church, and in the background to the right of the church you can see Cleveland House. So in the next episode we're just going to go around the old station, down to Cleveland Road, and then across to Regent Street.